stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? Yours feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
All right, welcome back to the Citius Mag YouTube channel. It is day 4, right?
Yeah.
Of the World Athletics Championships. Citius Mag live. Chris Chavez, joined by Caitlin Hutchison.
And Bubbles the penguin.
There you go. It's a nice souvenir you picked up while you're out here?
Yes, it was only $10. Gotta love the no taxes.
Have you figured out the price conversion, or like how did you know?
I just keep searching it up on Google, or I just guess.
I just swiped the card and I'm like, that looks right.
$200 is gone from my account.
Anyway, we have been sitting down with some awesome guests every day of the World Championships between the morning and the evening session, and today is no different. We are joined by the 2019 World Championship silver medalist, and last night she finished 7th at the World Athletics Championships 100-meter final, Brittany Brown. Brittany, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey guys, so glad to be here.
Hey boo, how you doing? Oh, you see all the claps in the background?
Thank you.
So less than 24 hours removed from the race, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling, track is track can break your heart, but then can lift you up. So it's like all the feels. I feel all the feels. So I am excited to have made the final, to make the team in the 100. Obviously, I wish I could have done better. There are some things I wanted to execute better. It just didn't happen last night. But last year I was at home. I wasn't even here. So in the year before, I was at home. So in the year before, I haven't made a U.S. World Team since 2019. So it's been, and to make it in the 100, and I always used to tell my coach, I only thought of myself as a 200-meter runner. So it's really cool to see myself in a whole different perspective, whole different outlet. So yeah.
Speaking of that, like I said, your silver medal is in the 200 if folks don't remember back in 2019, but here you are, world stage final in the 100. Why did you make the switch?
It just happened like that, honestly. So I was at USA's, and I actually got this question a lot. So the reason why I didn't run the 200 is because I actually have this thing called osteopubitis, and I think this one distance runner said that he had that too. I think Ollie Hoare. Yeah.
I think Kyle also had it too.
Yeah, it's really painful. So by the time I got to the end of the 100-meter that day, I was in a lot of pain. So it just came down to, can you really sprint? I could not. So it just happened like that. So we were trying to double. I was really trying to double, but osteopubitis is osteos bone, itis is inflammation, and then it's right on the pubic bone. So it's basically for anyone that's watching, it's plantar fasciitis right in your pubic bone, and it's painful. So I take a lot of anti-inflammatory. Some people decide to rest is a really good option. PRP injections are a really good option. I just decided not to do any of that. So we cycle in between of resting when it comes to training and pushing and ramping up. So that's why I didn't run the 2. For everyone that was asking, this is why I did not run the 200. I did want to run it, and that was the plan. I was in a lot of pain. So.
Why did you decide to double though? Because I would have figured that Brittany's coming back to come get. Matter of fact, she's about to come get the title in the 200. So she just gonna focus on that, go home, make it happen. But you decided to double. So what was the reason behind adding the 100 as well?
Going in, I think last year when I did the last year I doubled as well. So I made the final in both, and I was like, okay, let's try it again. So that was my same thought. I think next year the plan is to actually double. And that was I think last year I broke 11 seconds for the first time. So we were just thinking like I could do it again in the 100 and I could do it again in the 200. So, I'm just evolving as like a sprinter. Like me, like seeing myself how I can like prepare and attack races. Like I never thought I could actually do certain races, even the 4, like I never thought I could actually run a 4. So, it's just different. So we just really wanted to try it out and try the double out.
Breaking through in the 100, I guess, like, what does it take when you're making kind of that shift? Because you mentioned, like, breaking 11 seconds. I'm looking at your results from this year now, and you did that multiple times this year, including 1090 as your PR, at USA's. So for you, I guess, like, what were the major adjustments you had to make in order to master the 100?
So I think 2 things. It's a big mental shift when it comes to 100. I always thought that, especially in college. I went to school in Iowa. I'm a Hawkeye. Shout out all the Hawkeyes.
All right.
So it's just a big mental shift, the 100. I feel like when I think of the 100, we used to watch the 100 when I was younger, I'm like, these girls are like, these women are like, they're ready to go. Like, and not saying the 200 women aren't, but like, it's just a different race. So I think I had to become more assertive in how I present myself to this race. So that was like a big mental shift. But also when it comes to like training and stuff, like just lifting more weight, doing more plyometric stuff I kind of really didn't do at Iowa. Did it, but not like really intensely. And just attacking like more of like the acceleration part of my race and whatnot. So yeah, it was like a big mental shift and big like when it comes to the physical part, like there were new things that we had to venture into.
So let's talk a little bit about yesterday, because for you, the semifinals, you ran 10.97, and what was it, the last of the semifinal heats?
Yes.
So like already looking at the times of the schedule, like it was not what the men got in terms of just like the window for recovery, and going last like even puts you at an even more bigger disadvantage there.
Yeah.
So how did you approach that time in between both races? I feel like for the viewers on TV, it's easy for them to just jump to the next event. But like if you're a fan of the 100, you want to know what's going on in between like that whole time. So peel back the curtain for us. What was happening?
I mean, I knew that it was going to be a very short time difference. But I didn't feel it until we was getting, so for people watching, like from the track to the warm-up track, we take a cart. So you have to be at the cart pretty early to go to the track.
If the
from
cart
the warm-up
leaves
track.
without you.
The cart, they're calling you. They're like, come to the meeting spot. Like, we need to get you on the cart. So I was the last semifinal. We finished at 9. I got back to the warm-up track at 9. I had to leave the warm-up track at 9:23. So I had 23 minutes.
To do what?
To do 3 strides, get on the table, get my quad worked on, then do 2 blocks, and then I was trying to do one more. Luckily, the USA Track and Field staff was happy, and he was like, okay, cool, you can do one more. He wasn't really pushing me, but it was 9:23, so I had 23 minutes. So everyone in the Heat 3 was 23 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then what's the feel among everyone, like, when you have to get back
we're
on the golf
cart, and
Yeah.
we're all just like, a couple voices were like, why do we only have 23 minutes?
But the guys got like so much more time.
The guys got, I want to say, like 2
They watch
hours.
Oppenheimer between the...
Yes. You can watch a whole movie. We can get a full cool down, full rub down, like good warm up, cool down. Like my cool down was only, like I said, like 3 strides. So it's like, we were kind of, I definitely was like, dang, like, this is like practice. Like, this is crazy.
Let me do a little plug right quick. So when things like this happen, we have World Athletics representatives. And right now, if you are an athlete, you can vote for them. And if you are a fan of Citius Mag and also an athlete.
It just so happens Jasmine Todd is one of the candidates and like looking to enact some change.
Exactly.
Please.
So
Please.
if you're watching this and you're an athlete, you have until the 23rd to
Yes.
go out and let your voice be known and heard.
At 5 p.m.
Okay,
Vote
that's
for
time.
Jasmine.
Okay, time.
Jasmine can look at these things and be like, this should not happen. And then Brittany Brown and everyone else will not have 23 minutes to go get their lives in order. So
Get 25 minutes. No.
Thank you. Thank you, World Athletics.
So then kind of, this is the World Championship 100-meter final. Nerves?
High. It's like super high. It's crazy because I was telling one of my friends, I was like, God, like I was so nervous, like more nervous than the 200 in 2019. Like even I say up there with like trials, I was like that amount of nerves. But yeah, it was like a lot of just moving around. I feel like when you like sit down, nerves just come. So like in the waiting room and whatnot, just moving around, not trying to overthink it and just staying present. But the nerves are high.
Yeah, because I was thinking about just Sha'Carri being the first one to step onto the track and then just having to wait for every single person to be announced and like you're hearing their accolades and stuff.
Yeah.
For you as an athlete, when you're getting called out there, like what do you choose to focus on? Are you just like staring out into the lane and just like deep into your own thoughts? Are you hearing these things? Like what is going through your head there?
I think it's like you're aware but not aware. I have a sports performance coach, and we talk about like just being task oriented. So obviously they're saying their accolades, they're saying my accolades. So the things I'm saying in my mind are just relax, my cues when I'm getting in the blocks and whatnot. So I'm trying to stay focused on the task at hand, because there's so much going on, so much. The crowd was crazy. I love the Budapest crowd. So it's just a lot. So you have to stay focused on the task right in front of you. And the task is just walking out, running out, cool. My task is when I get behind the block, say my cues, cool. You can't hold everything. You can't hold the crowd. You can't hold what the announcer is saying. You only really can hold what your thoughts are. So yeah.
Besides like nerves though, I feel like there had to be a great level of excitement because not only did you make the final, but all of our USA women made the final. And I just want you to talk to me a little bit about like what it felt like knowing that you were going into the final with two other lovely women on this team.
Great. It was a good feeling. I was just talking to my coach about that after. I was like, it's been a while since like all three USA women have made the final. So I was telling someone in the media room, I was like, it gives that team feeling vibe. Like, we don't really get that a lot anymore just because we have our own sponsors, we have our own groups. But, like, when you look around, you see Sha'Carri and you see Tamari Davis, you're like, okay, like, I'm in a group of strong women who can really dominate. And it gives you that camaraderie that you really don't get anymore with the college, with the professional job that we do. So yeah, it's a great feeling.
So I know you were saying like off camera that you haven't had a chance to see Tamari and Sha'Carri yet, but if you could give each of them like one sentence about like how you felt about how the race went yesterday or like whatever, like what would you tell the both of them?
Question. Okay, girl. I would say I'm super humbled by their performances. I don't know all their stories. I know bits and pieces of their stories. But to come and make the final, for Sha'Carri to come back and make the final, for Tamari, who just missed out on the team last year by 4th place. So it's like, I'm super proud. I'm super humbled to be in the presence of these women who just kept pushing, because sometimes it's hard. Like, it really gets frustrating sometimes, just especially with track. Like, track is like, can be a heartbreaking sport. So, you know, like for you to come out there and still try when you're not sure. Every time you step to the line and you're not sure, like, I'm proud of y'all for coming to the line and stepping out there and not being sure, but still executing, still doing it. So yeah, girl.
So when the gun goes off, how did you feel about your own race execution? I'm sorry, it's a sore subject.
So I didn't have the best of reactions, but I had a pretty decent reaction. But by my like 3rd or 4th step, if you watch the video, I like trip up. I think I like tripped up out of like my acceleration kinda. So by the time I did that, I was like, oh, this is happening. So, I mean, I have been breaking 11 seconds consistently. For me to break 11 seconds last year for the first time. So, like, I'm really proud of that. Now, I'm a little disappointed that, you know, I tripped up and I fell out of my dry phase. Yes. So yeah, by the time I looked up, the race is over. So you have 10.6, you have 10.7, 10.7, then 10.8. So you really don't have time for. That's why I say about the hundreds, like you don't really have time for error. Like the 200, you can get away with a little something, but with the 100, you don't. So that's why I say like the 100 is like a bit of a challenge, but it's a good challenge because it's like have to be fully aware and present in that moment.
How
to really
perfect can you be? It just seems to be the question.
It's basically how perfect can you be? So
the coolest part, just kind of listening to you just break down that race, is just like for us as fans, like we're watching and it's like 10 seconds, it's done and it's over with. But for you, it's just like even those couple steps and those one of those seconds feels like you already know what happened and can drag out a whole story from it.
Yeah. Literally that, I think it's probably the fourth step. I watched it this morning. It was the fourth step and I was like, okay. Oh, right there. I collapsed right there. So it's like, yeah, for you guys, it looks like just 10 seconds. But like for me, I'm like, you're consciously thinking like through the race. You can feel it when you're like on top of yourself or when you're not, or when you're leaning back or you're leaning forward. So like you're very conscious and aware, especially in 100. So yeah.
When after that fourth step and you're kind of looking and you can see the race unfold, did you kind of even though Sha'Carri was way on the outside, like did you know the outcome of it? Like
no, I had no idea. I had Dina on the outside of me and I had Shrika on the other side of me, so obviously knew Shrika was ahead of me. But no, I didn't know the outcome. I was looking around like, okay, what's going on? But like you kind of like get some like perspective in the race, but you're not really 100% sure.
That's the same thing that happened with me yesterday, where I was sitting at, because Jasmine was sitting on like the other side of the stadium. So I was looking at Jasmine. Well, when me and Jasmine were talking last night about it, I'm like, I could not tell like if Sha'Carri won, because from where I was sitting, it looked like Sharika might have been ahead of her, and then like Sha'Carri like out-leaned her, and I looked at the time and I was like 10.65 and 10.72 are like not very like that's not close at all. So I was like, oh my god, this is insane. So I could only imagine like what it would feel like for you to like be in the middle of it, where you're focusing on yourself but you're also kind of worried about other people, because obviously you want to beat them and you don't know what's going on. Like I don't know, like how do you manage through all of those emotions? Because I don't know, it's a lot.
I mean, obviously Sha'Carri was in lane 9 and Shrika was right next to me, so it's like it's like a balance game that you're playing. It's like trying to be focused on you, but then also like being aware of like where you're at in the race, because it's not like we're distance runners, we're like right next to each other, we're like in lanes, so it's like I don't know of it right now, but you're just like trying to fill everybody out, but you're also trying to stay on your lane. So yeah.
So you go through the media, drug testing. I guess you leave the stadium pretty late, right?
Yeah, I left it late.
No celebration, nothing?
No, my coach gave me some dark chocolate, so that was nice.
Thanks, Coach.
But yeah, I came back to the hotel, ate some food, ate some dark chocolate, but I didn't really sleep much last night. I was just telling my friend, I was like, the adrenaline that you have like after races, like it's so high, like no matter if you do good or bad, like it's just high. So it's like it's very hard to sleep after races, or even before races. It's very hard to sleep. So girl, yeah,
you better get your sleep, because I'm assuming that you might be on this 4x1. I don't know if you can say anything at all, because we know social media has been an absolute whirlwind the past couple of weeks over whatever might have been going on. But I just want to know your thoughts. Like, are you excited for the 4x1?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. We have relay practice tomorrow, so we're just getting ready for that, and we'll just take it from there. Honestly, I'm excited. I think we have a solid group of girls that you can really pick anyone, honestly.
Do you know that like the fact that you got Noah and Sha'Carri as the individual winners, and like assuming, you know, I'm speaking to existence, USA gets gold in the 4x1, and
speak like, girl,
listen,
receive it.
Everyone's going to hate us. Like, it's not just going to be the Jamaicans who are going to come after us. The entire world is going to have pitchforks. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Budapest is Tracktown, USA now. That's what it is.
Literally.
So I guess what is the vibe been like at Team USA Hotel? Like in terms of just like last year, we would hear stories from the guests that we would bring on, and it was like, oh, we're getting into really intense domino games and all this stuff, and like people are playing pranks on each other. For you, I guess like this is not your first US team, but like, do they all feel different?
Yes and no. Like I'm kind of a hermit, so I
stay in my room and I do what I got to do.
I like my Netflix shows. I call my family, friends, and every now and then I go out. I'm like, hey guys, what are we doing? I talk and then I leave, and then I talk and then I leave. So it's like, I mean, it's different. I mean, it definitely feels different than 2019. In 2019, like I was just obviously getting to know people. But yeah, it's different. I see people playing games, talking to the staff, and I don't know any pranks yet. But yeah, it's a different vibe.
Speaking of Team USA, I have a question. So did you see the picture that they posted of y'all?
What picture?
Like the team photo.
Yeah. I want to know if you were one of the people that were paying attention and smiling, or if you were looking away,
honestly,
or if you
like there
what?
could have been a better like you did it multiple takes.
It was so crazy because like there was some people that were like talking at each other. Then you got Sha'Carri in the front who's like mean mugging, and then like some people are smiling, some people are like looking in other directions. So which one were you?
I was definitely smiling. The guy didn't do a countdown, so I'm like, are you gonna count down? Like, what's going on? What's going on? He was just snapping away. I'm just like, okay. So I was just like, just smile.
How long were you smiling for?
Forever. Like, Stacey, smile. Like,
Smile away, boy.
Smile away, boys. I got this. So, the picture, I've gotten a lot of questions about the picture, but like it is what it is. Like it was a different one, and it was interesting. It was an interesting picture. Yes.
When it comes to like being a member of these teams, like are there? It's so interesting. Like what are there things that you really take value from and like will hang up or frame like from making these teams? Like from 2019, where is that medal, and like where are the spikes? Where is that singlet from that? Like, do you put these things in a special place?
Yes. So I guess it's not really special. I guess it's just in a box. So it's not like a decorated like room of like, I keep like flowers. I like to keep flowers, even though they say you can't take flowers out of the country, but one time I was sure. I don't know. Like, do you have to declare that? Like, I don't know.
So, like, I smuggled, like, these. They don't have Olipop in Budapest, but, but I smuggled, like, 6 of them. So I'm saving them for, like, special occasions. So, like, last night, like, we were celebrating the USA Gold. I was like, it's time to crack an Olipop.
Yeah, let me just crack one open. It's been a long day.
Yeah, boys.
Yeah. So, I mean, I save my flowers. I save the flags, spikes. I usually, like, write on like the flower, like the ribbon piece, like what time I run. So yeah, and then I like buy like something like a little something small. Like I bought like a little keychain that reminds me of Doha, and then I'll probably buy something here, and yeah, I just keep it in a little box of like all my track stuff.
Because some of these like fans, like the kids at like these European meets, just like the regular season ones, like they are vicious. They want like your bib, they want your spikes, and you're like, I still have a couple more races this
Matter
year.
of fact, they want you. They just want you to come home with them.
This one girl like wanted my flowers when I ran at 200 in Luzerne last week, or before USA, like before Worlds, and I usually keep my flowers, and my coach is like, give him the flowers. I was like, I want my flowers, like, but I was like, okay, let me let it go. It's okay. Like, let me let the flowers go. I'm a big girl. You can have them. But I like to keep it in my little box of stuff. Right. So yeah.
That 200 in Luzerne, like, flew under the radar, I think, for a lot of people.
Not for me. I've been a Brittany fan.
22:05, your second fastest time ever.
Yes.
Like the return, basically, you got a chance to return to the 200.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Like, because like over the last couple of years, especially in the United States, the 200 is like taking another level up with Gabby and Abby, and you're in the mix. So like, how did crossing the finish line? That it's faster than when you won or when you got the silver in Doha.
So that was my first 200 all year. I haven't run the 200 since that meet. It was great. I felt good. I was like, okay. I feel like the 200 is like, I'm a twin, so I feel like
You're a twin
brother. I'm a fraternal twin. Huh?
You run?
No. He doesn't run. So I feel like it's like the 200 and the 100, like they're like my twins. So I'd be like, okay, like this is my other twin, this is my other twin. So like I'm so happy to get back to my other twin. I'm actually gonna run the 200 in Zurich. So I'm just excited to like. I really I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to double. It just didn't happen. But yeah, I'm excited to get back to my other baby.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I know you're still talking a lot more about the double, but we're in the Olympic year next year. So even bigger lights, even more competition, even amazing crowd, even though that's not a word. So what
made it a word.
What do you feel like you need to do to make sure that you are on that team for the 1 and the 2?
It's kind of wild to think like we're less than a year away from
I know, it's crazy.
I feel like just every year it's like fine tuning just more stuff. Like what can I fine tune here? What can I do here? What can I do in my mental prep? What can I do in the weight room, on the track? So it's like just a lot of like evaluation. Like I like to as I'm not that old, but I feel like I'm getting old. So I'm 28. So as I'm getting older, like I feel like it's really important to evaluate what's working, what's not working. Like, what can we change and why didn't it work? Or what does it look like when it works? And what does it look like when it doesn't work? So just a lot of evaluation at the end of the season really is helpful to prepare for a big year like next year.
So what are like some characteristics or a characteristic of yourself as an athlete that you feel like might make you stand out from other people, or that you feel like you're really, really good at?
I don't know.
You're so much fun.
You're always smiling. You're like Ferdinand. Like both of you guys are never not smiling. I love it.
Characteristics that stand out. My eye makeup. I love my little eye makeup. Shelly told me she liked it yesterday.
Oh, that is high praise.
Shelly said she liked it. So I'm like, it must be good. So yeah, I'm loving my little eye makeup right now. I be like putting eyeliner on. I do little stuff in my eyelashes. So I think that's really unique. People always love talking about my choker. I need to let it go, but I just feel like it's just got a choker.
What's the origin story behind it?
It's really nothing. Like it's just like
just wore it, and then people like that looks great.
Me and my best friend used to wear it in college, and like it just hasn't like. Last year I didn't really wear it at all, and then like this year I've just been wearing it more. So I'm just like, it's back. Like I just need to let it go, but it has a chokehold on me, so I'm just like,
The choker has a chokehold?
Yes.
It might just be good luck, because look, you made the final at Worlds in the 100. So.
I'm trying to like let it go, but it just stuck on me. What else? I feel like I'm
should get a choker sponsor. Like, do they have those?
I don't know. Just some plastic from Claire's. Maybe Claire's is sponsoring.
Shout out Claire's.
Hey, shout out Claire's. Please help me. But yeah, I feel like that eye makeup, choker, people really know me for that, and smiling, they know me a lot for. Yeah.
So, with the smiles on the starting line, like you have to be a killer when you get into the block. So how do you turn that smile into just like straight game face?
Well, it's hard because like, so I have dimples. So I feel like sometimes people like think I'm just like, oh, it's happy. And I'm just like, ah. And I'm like, the dimples are lying to you. Like I promise you. Like even if I just slightly smile, they're gonna show. They're just like, don't let them fool you. So it's like immediate like.
I see it right now. It's like
you just can't really like hide them. So it's like you do a quick little smile. I think everyone's different, but I do like to smile and say hi, and then you just go back in the zone. So yeah.
In the cart on the way there, like, is anyone talking to each other or like?
I don't think so.
The cart has been just so fascinating. They have cameras in there and everything.
The cart was fascinating. I was like, what is going on? Like, who's
I want to interview, like, one of the guests on this show should be the cart drivers. Like, I want to hear what they've been hearing this entire time.
Chris Chavez
know
being
they've
your
been
cart
hearing
driver.
a lot. I know they've been hearing a lot. So it's like, and sometimes they have like, I guess the Netflix crew on the cart camera. So it's like, it's a lot. I mean, I think for the final, no one was really talking. I mean, we were talking when we initially got on how short the turnaround was, but after that, no one was talking. But yeah, cart rides are usually quiet. wind in your hair just blowing.
What do you make of the whole, obviously there's been cameras on Noah with his documentary, now the Netflix series is coming out, but I guess if someone were to peg a whole camera crew like on you, like what would we be seeing in practice and like the 24 hours before a race? Like what's the most compelling thing?
Oh, practice or competition?
Give me whatever is going to, like, if I'm watching on Netflix and I'm like, oh, wow, like this is something I've never seen before.
Practice, I would say like, probably dying in practice. Practice is hard, especially in the fall. I think it also depends on like where we're at in the season. But a lot of like big concentration at practice. A lot of like zoned in. Someone was trying to talk to me one time at practice, and I was like, can you? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. And I was like, I was like, hopefully I'm not being mean, but I was just like, practice, girl. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. So I feel like that would be interesting. Another big thing I feel like that would be interesting is like my like mental preparation before practice is like super big. Like my friend asked me one time, she's like, what do you do to like mentally prepare for like workouts and stuff? Because she's like, I'm trying to start working out, and I'm like, I don't know, like what do you do like to like mentally prepare? So I was like, I actually do a lot. Maybe I do a little too much. But I do a walk in the morning. I read a book, and then I usually meditate. And maybe sometimes I get to journal. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff I do in the mornings, like mentally. And I'm usually quiet. I like quiet mornings. I don't really like loud mornings. But that's like a really like big like part of me preparing for practice, me preparing for competitions, like having like a routine, but also like a routine that's like inspiring, routine that like calms me down and like gets me centered back into myself. So I feel like that would be a cool aspect of following me.
That's awesome. And when it comes to journaling, is there a lot of like track stuff written in there? Because like Zarnell Hughes apparently is like the #1 most famous like journaler. He's writing down times and running exactly what he wrote down. I don't know if I believe every single one of those stories, but
Zarnell, I believe you.
What's in the journal?
First 3 things are always what I'm grateful for. I always write today I'm grateful for, and then I write 3 things down what I'm grateful for. And then I usually like, if I read a book that morning, I read, what's that book? I'm currently reading or just finished a Malcolm Gladwell book called David and Goliath. So I usually like something I got from a book, and I'll just talk about how I'm feeling. If it's like practice, like what I want to execute that day. If it's competition, sometimes I write down time, but sometimes I just write down like, I'm gonna stay low in practice, or I'm stay low at the meet. I'm going to, when I come up on my transition, I'm going to feel powerful. Like I write down kind of like, I feel like track is very, what's the word? Like kinetic, or what's the word I'm looking for? But it's like about how you're feeling. Like, cause I feel like, obviously you can tell me what to do and all this other stuff, but if I'm not feeling right, I'm not going to do it, or it's very hard for me to do it. So I just write like how I'm going to feel at the end of the race, how I'm going to feel at the beginning of the race, how I want to feel, how I would like to feel. So yeah, it is definitely a lot of track stuff. Sometimes it's like every day, you know, my sister pissed me off. I'm so mad at her. I love her, but dang girl. I love her so much. I miss my sister so much. Shout out my sister, because I know she's going to watch this. And my dad's going to watch this. So, yeah. Yeah.
So, a couple more races this season?
Yeah. So we're going to go to Zurich and run the 2. Then we're going to Brussels and run the 2. I don't have any Diamond League points, so hopefully I get some points in Zurich and Brussels with the 2, and then get into that Diamond League final and then be done.
How much of that is like your favorite part of the job, is like traveling to all these awesome places?
It's a mix. Like when I found out I was gonna be over here for a month, I was like, a month? Dang.
Wait, you haven't
been hungry for a
No,
month?
not here.
In
but
Europe for a
in
month.
Europe for a month. Yeah. Because
What's the biggest thing you miss about America?
my bed.
Okay. I thought the answer was going to be like a cheeseburger or a good pizza.
No, I miss my bed. I miss my apartment. I miss my space. I miss my family and friends or whatnot, and having to be able to easily talk to them. Obviously the food here is okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I do miss the food in America. I do miss that Texas food. But yeah, so I think the travel itself is cool. And it's great. Like, I've never been out the country. Only time I ever been out the country was the first time of me going out the country was in 2019. And
to go to Doha or to meet?
No, I was going. Where was I going? I was going somewhere before that. But I was just saying, like, I was afforded the opportunity because of track. Like, I've never been out the country. I didn't even get a passport unless it was for a track. So, so yeah, the travel to different countries is exciting and it's new and it's fresh. But a month is a little long. So, I am excited to run the 2. So it's like a mix of like, I love it, but I want to go home.
So, like, speaking of like being over here for a month, like, are you training by yourself? Like, how do you find places to train? Like, do you have your coach? Like, what's going on?
There must be some weird instances like, oh, this track is closed. I've got to find something else.
It is different. So it's different for like who your sponsor is, like, because they have certain training bases and who your country is. I know USA Track and Field has a training site in Belgium. I'm not sure if I'll be going there or not. But it just depends, honestly, who you know, who your coach knows, who your agent knows, where you can find a track and where you can't find a track. So yeah, it's just who you really know.
Now, how do you get your clothes? Because we've had a lot of very unfortunate mix-ups in the Citius bag team and for other people. But traveling for a month, like, how many suitcases is that? And how do you make sure they all get to the same place?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like a couple of Hail Marys on the plane. Just be like, I hope it makes it.
Yeah, so I have a carry-on that has like my uniforms and stuff and like spikes and whatnot. So that's great. And then I have 2 other bigger suitcases and just say a long prayer. You hope it gets there. I was actually, before I came here, I was doing laundry, and I was just like, oh, wow, I feel so quintessential Europe right now. Like, I'm just walking around with my suitcase, like, I'm going to go do laundry right now. I can laundry now. So, yeah, it's just a lot of, it's different. You're hoping your clothes get to wherever you need to do, but you always travel with your uniform and your spike, so at least you have something.
It's such a funny thought for me that it's just like, the 7th fastest woman in the world, the day after that performance, what does she do? She's out doing laundry.
This guy,
athletes, they're just like us.
This guy actually stopped me. He's like, Brittany. I was like, oh, I thought I look crazy this morning. Like, he's like, Brittany. I was like, hey. He's like, picture. I was like, oh, okay, hey.
In Europe, like, the paparazzi that sometimes stays outside of
yes.
like hotels is crazy. They've like printed out photos
yes.
from like
what?
races.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's especially true in the diamond leagues. Like if they will know what the meet hotel is and then they will park themselves outside and have like photos of everyone competing at the race and like make you sign multiple versions of it because I guess they're going to try and sell it to other people. They're going to
sell them. Yeah. That's what I didn't know. I was like, oh, they're selling them? Do I get a piece?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, where's my NLI? How much are you selling them for?
Yeah, I'm surprised like Caitlin hasn't been selling track autographs this entire time. You had like great access to these athletes.
Can I get this included in my contract? Like the picture? Hey.
Brittany, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us, especially, less than 24 hours after your race, and, wishing you all the best of luck, especially if you get chosen for this relay.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a phenomenal season for you, and we're going into a big year, and you've got a bunch of people rooting for you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be with you guys. I love you guys. I'm like, every time I see you guys, I'm like, I love you.
You can say it into that camera. Say something nice about Citius Mag.
I love Citius Mag. Every time I see them, I'm just like, it's like that. You never like have a good, like you drink a good drink and you finish drinking and you're like, that was good. Like that's when I see you guys, I'm just like, that was good.
Exactly how I feel when I'm drinking Olipop.
Okay, plug that in real quick. Okay.
That is how I feel about Citius Mag. Brittany, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever.